1990. I've been doing a countdown. Probably it's been for a couple years now. I started in the 60s, and it's about 4 or 5 months ago I did 1989, and I haven't gone any further. And part of the reason was it's just we're entering the age of CD, and vinyl, especially within the US, is hard to find. And and quite honestly, at that time, I was still finding some vinyl, but for the most part, all the record stores I went to, the different music subscriptions like BMG, Columbia House, they were all switching to CD, and vinyl became very, very difficult. So I began wondering, can I even go further with this? Well, due to reissues and finding some of this, I can. And I'm so happy because when I began looking at 1990, it's like one of the greatest years of music. It was incredible what came out this year. The powerful music. Music was changing. The landscape was going in all kinds of different directions. This happens all the time with music, but there was so much happening. 4 of the albums, I would say, are in my top 20. 3 are in my top 10 of all time. That's how powerful a year this was. And so this has just been exciting to go back and listen to everything. I have 30-some albums from 1990. I used to have hundreds of CDs from it. But these are important albums. Now, do I have everything that I would like? No, I don't have Neil Young's Ark and Weld. I really would like to have that. And there's a few others. And, a couple would have made it up there, but I don't have them. But I'm going to give you my favorite 12. And some of these are some of my all-time favorite albums that came out in 1990. I'm going to give you the 12. And, just real quick, Paul Simon's Rhythm of the Nation came out as he kept going with world music. Texas Tornadoes, there's Doug Sam on there, Freddie Fender. It's just a wonderful Tex-Mex music. This is the all-Spanish version. It's all completely done Spanish. This came from the box set, but Bob Mould's Black Sheet Rain. You talk about, he decided, okay, I was really quiet on Workbook. I'm just going to come out and rip it up, and he did. This almost made it, but Pod. From the Breeders. Wow. Powerful stuff. Just a wonderful original. Spaceman 3, Dream Weapon. Spaceman 3 was falling apart, but still just another outstanding. And this is a great original I found last year, the Pixies Bossa Nova. Again, Pixies were coming to the end of the rope. This was it, because we have the Breeders going on. And so these are just some of the albums, and there's many more that I have that I'm not going to show you them all, but let's just begin. First off, the debuts. There were some incredible debut albums from 1990. Such an exciting year. You kind of forget about these things till you dig into it. But Pale Saints came out, so this is the debut from the Pale Saints. The Comforts of Madness, and this is it's like an incredible, it's a great dream pop album with shoegaze, and probably one of the greatest dream pop albums from the early 90s, I would have to say. You take Jesus and Mary Chain, My Bloody Valentine, Galaxy 500, all that's kind of mixed up in here. It's noise and melody kind of duking it out to see who's going to win, and it just makes for incredible, beautiful music. What's amazing is it's only a trio. When you listen to this and it's going, you think, man, there's got to be a lot of people playing on this thing. There's a lot of stuff happening. And it wasn't. It was also very much experimental. They're trying different things. There's a lot of different tempo curveballs that they throw in here throughout the album. Just an outstanding debut album from Pale Saints. Again, a group that didn't last that long, but this was a heck of a start, and probably, I would say, their best album. Number 11, it's another debut from a group that just didn't last. the Sundays, Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic. And I had, a couple years ago, I found an original of it. And, well, I guess it's more than a couple of years. It's 4 years ago. It was the flood. But I lost, obviously that original disappeared. But they've recently reissued this. I couldn't be happier. I think I got my original vinyl somewhere. But this, Sundays, the debut, Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic. It has the beautiful, the gorgeous, one of the most wonderful songs, Here's Where the Story Ends. I talk about, again, that dream pop, indie music type feel. It's really happening on this. Harriet Wheeler, I mean, she has these ethereal vocals. And, I mean, it's just pure dream pop. When you listen to her, it's just so gorgeous. The music, it has a joyful feel to it, even though some of the lyrics are very somber. But yet, it has this kind of uplifting feel. Just incredible stuff. You could tell they loved the Smiths. Johnny Marr type guitars, that ringing guitar. It's all over this album. Definitely, the guitarist was a Smith acolyte, and that would have been David Gavarin. But yeah, it's beautiful stuff. Incredible debut from the Sundays. But yeah, rock, right? There's some rock happening. Yeah, it's just not all dream pop and stuff like that. How about this one? It's the third. Social Distortion. This is my very first Social Distortion album I ever bought, and I was blown away by it. I could not believe how good this was. Mike Ness and company, what they were doing. It's their self-titled album. Again, third album. It was their major label debut, though, and they just came out. And this is like somewhere in between rockabilly and Ramones punk. That's where this seems to fall in. And it's just great song after song. Mike Ness, his vocals are so powerful. They just come at you and they just slam you into the wall. They are great. You got Story of My Life. You got Ball and Chain, So Far Away. I mean, it's like great honky tonk happening here. Rockabilly type feel. The guitars, they're fast, they're loud. This rocks. Your turntable smokes after playing this thing. That needle's on fire. It's so good. Just an incredible major label debut. This is still my favorite album from Social Distortion. It's the one I had to bring back into the collection, and I definitely did. Just wow. Number 10. Excellent stuff. Then we got number 9. Jane's Addiction, Ritual Habitual. This was an original I got from my, from Bill Young. Before he passed away, he allowed me to kind of go through and selling stuff. Again, he was trying to get money for his wife and things like that, and so I was able to get this original. And this is their third album, like Jane's Addiction. Like Social Distortion. This is their third album and their major label debut. Exact same thing happening, it was their mainstream breakthrough. This is where they broke through the mainstream. Actually, the one before was on, I think, on Warner Brothers, so it wasn't their major label. They cut that part out as usual. I give you false information. Oh my! But this, of course, has the song, just the song itself. The Stop. It's called Stop. And it's just one of the best hard rock songs ever. David Navarra, he has this trashy, funky riff going on. It's just phenomenally good. You got Ain't No Right. It's explosive. It's vicious. It just comes screaming at you. You have, there's Classic Girl on here. It's a ghostly ballad. One thing Perry Farrell does is he will put on a beautiful ballad. And they're different. It isn't just, syrupy kind of stuff. There's really interesting type ballad. And of course, it has Been Caught Stealing, which, blew up. and that really blew these guys up, and wonderful. There's also a couple songs on here that seem to be about a threesome. Now, it may not be, but if you read the lyrics, it sounds like a threesome. I don't know. You know, lyrics, you interpret them, right? Number 9. Number 8. I fell in love with this when it came out. And again, some of these I had to have on CD, but I've been able to find originals, like this one here, Los Lobos. And this is their 5th album, The Neighborhood. This is just straight ahead rock and roll. Their previous album had been their all Spanish album, which was amazing, just amazing. And then you had How Will the Wolf Survive, and oh, I can't think of the other one, but I mean, Los Lobos was just hitting it out of the ballpark. They were just stepping up bat, hitting the home runs. This is just another home run. It's full of rock, R&B, and blues. It's just filled with this. You have such beautiful and gentle songs like Little John. I mean, it's just Little John of God. It's almost can bring a tear to your eye. It's so gorgeous. And of course, Emily, another wonderful ballad. And this is coming from Mr. I don't really like ballads. But they were wonderful. You have the funky fun of songs like I Walk Alone and Georgia Slop. Excellent. I mean, there's the saxophone. They got baritone sax just going away on there. It's just incredible. The accordion, they make it happen. Just catchy tunes from a band that was hitting their creative peak. And that's what they were doing. They were slaying it. And the 80s into the 90s, Los Lobos could do no wrong. Excellent stuff. At number 7. And let's just take this out of here. This is not the original cover. Well, again, I lost the original. This is Twin Peaks. The soundtrack from Twin Peaks basically is Angelo Badalamenti. It's his album. With Julie Cruz on here too. David Lynch also helps. And, you know, Twin Peaks. First off, still one of the greatest shows ever. One of my all-time favorite shows ever. And why? The music. And the show itself was great, quirky, different, but the music painted the picture. And the music set the mood. And this album does it in spades. It is so amazing. It just says everything. When you put that on, you hear this, and it's creepy. It's dark. It's dreamy. It's mysterious. It's all that. And it just paints a picture out there. It sets the mood. You have jazz in here, that big jazz beats in Audrey's dance, snapping of the fingers, yeah, baby. And you know, they use jazz and other things, but yet it's so many different things happening. Each song paints a specific picture, a specific one. It's just one of the greatest soundtracks in to me in the world. It's so wonderful. And Julie Cruz comes of age on here with her falling, you know, really David Lynch and Angela, they really took her under their wing and brought her, and of course she became like a huge with Dream Pop, and just those ghostly vocals. Twin Peaks soundtrack, I played it 100, you know, there's that thing over 100 times playing an album. Boom, here it is. Easily this one drops into my top 30, maybe top 20 all time. So good. Nah, maybe top 50, we'll give it that. Okay, here's one. Sundial. If you've never heard Sundial, which probably a lot of you haven't, this is called Other Way Out. If you are a fan of early Pink Floyd, Pipers at the Gates of Dawn, Syd Barrett, you will fall in love with this. This will be your best friend. You'll take it to lunch, you'll take it to dinner, you'll take this album to the movies. It's just, you're going to palsy-welzy around with it. That's what it's like. If this is new psychedelia that was coming out, the Beavis Frond, it's out of the UK. The UK was going into, I mean, UK had so much happening. When you started in the 90s, UK was just going, there was the dream pop, there was the shoegaze, there was the psychedelia, there was, obviously that Britpop was happening. So much was coming out of the UK, incredible. Well, this is one of them. Gary, I believe Ramon's his name. I mean, he lives in a world of, shall we say, mind-blowing expansion and trippy hallucinations. And that's what you get. Look at that cover. This is what you're going to get. He was channeling his inner Sid Barrett. And some of these songs you would say, God, is that early Pink Floyd? Is that Sid Barrett? I mean, he really gets deep into it, and it is great. This is trippy, fun, spacey psych with some crazy psychedelic keys happening, fuzzed out guitars, and just for fun, flute. Well, but it works. It works. Incredible album. The Sundial, Other Way Out. If you're a fan of psych, I mean, this is just like mind-blowing, amazing stuff. Okay, how about number 5? Let's go back to their debut, Sundial. That was their debut too. I mean, here's another debut. I mean, this is like 5, this is maybe 6 debuts. Ride. This is probably one of the greatest shoegaze albums ever made. I'll just go on. I'm just going to tell you that right now. This is called Nowhere, their debut. And again, I just think it's one of the greatest that were ever made. If you want your music to have some whirs and some whooshes and some hazy, fuzzy sounds and swirling guitars, well, there you go. You're going to love this because it's going to give that to you. It starts off with the Seagull, which is this dance type, hypnotic song with these punishing drums and filled with guitar twists. Then you got Kaleidoscope, which is really upbeat and loud and give you a little extra fuzz on top. We'll just put that on there for you. The middle slows down. There's some instrumentals in the middle, and then it kind of blows up at the end when you get especially Vapor Trail and stuff. Just an incredible. This was showing, and shoegaze didn't last long. I mean, it came and it went, but it's remained out there, and there's a resurgence of it now. I mean, there's a wonderful resurgence. But again, through reissuing, all of us were able to get some of this stuff and find it and enjoy it. And yeah, just an incredible debut at number 5. Now, number 4, we're hitting some of the all-time best albums in my list when I did my top 100. Someday I should do that again. It just takes a long time. Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Wow, just the first 3 Public Enemy albums, just amazing. And this is no different than the other ones. It is a collage of samples of rock and funk and jazz, and they create this massive wall of sound that would soon disappear from rap. This wall of sound of all these samples disappear, and I think a lot of it just because sampling was becoming such a thing, and suddenly there's a lot of money becoming involved as everyone was suing everybody for these samples. Samples began to go away. You didn't hear as much, but this is amazing. This, the album really, it came about, it was their response to, there was an author, Dr. Francis Wilsing, and he had this book he put out, Color Confrontation Theory, which said the mixing of races will result in the diluting of the white race. And people are still talking about that, and people are still believing in all that stuff. It's scary. But 1990, they sang about that, along with poverty. Here you got 911's a joke on here. You have, let's see, Welcome to the Terror Drome is here. Burn Hollywood Burn. just jam-packed with excellent stuff. Chuck D had a lot to say, and he came out fast, furious, knocking you in the head, blasting you with just some incredible stuff. Their albums after this, I never really got into as much. The first three, they meant a lot to me, and still do, and this is incredible. Number 4. Number 3, Sonic Youth. This is my favorite Sonic Youth. This probably is in the, could be top 10, top 15 of all time. I just think this is amazing. On it, you have Karen. You have they sing about Karen Carpenter and Tunic. They sing about UFOs and Disappear. They sing about dating Jesus's mother. Yes, a song about dating Jesus's mother, and it's called Mary Christ. Chuck D from Public Enemy's on here on Cool Thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just awesome. It's the back cover. This is a little beat up because this cover actually survived the flood. There is the original album. So this was one that I was able to get back in that day in album form. But this is just, I mean, you have Dirty Boots, My Friend Goose on here. These are all songs. They had structure, and get this, even, could it be chorus happening? It really was their attempt at more mainstream. And to me, it was successful. I loved it. There was some experimentation on here, but for the most part, these are songs that stick in your head. It says snappy, great instrumentation. Sonic Youth Goo, wonderful. Number 2, possibly a perfect album. Not possibly. To me, it is a perfect album. World Party, Goodbye Jumbo. There's an original, actually. There we go. Reissue on this. James Griffin from the UK sent this to me. I only had this in CD for many, many, many years because I could not find it in the US. And he sent me one. And obviously, I lost it again, but I saved the vinyl because it meant so much to me. This is a perfect album. There's songs on here. They all have a really positive, very upbeat type feel to it, even though they're dealing with problems with the environment, such as take it up and put the message in the bottle, or dealing with relationships falling apart, such as I Fall Back Alone. I believe that was it. I could read it off the back, but wouldn't that be too easy to do? And let's just use memory. Oh boy. But it's just the way he presents it. It is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. There's just these up-tempo grooves of Way Down Now. And you just hear that, and it sticks to you. This is earworms. This is so filled with so many hooks on here. I mean, it's hooks for days. It's like going to Bass Pro Shop and going to the hook section. It's just packed with hooks. That's what this is. I mean, it's catchy. It's just filled with them. Put the message in the box. Wow. Wonderful song. It's just song after song after song. Everyone on here is just beautiful. This is easily was in my top 10 when I did that. It still is, because it is gorgeous. So best album of 1990, and no doubt for me, I mean, even ones that I don't have, but it's this one, and it wouldn't be on any. Probably it's only on my list. Lou Reed and John Cale, Songs for Drella. Oh God, this is an emotional album. This is their tribute to Andy Warhol, and again, I was able to. It took me years to find an original, and I finally had found an original and lost. Oh God, but I kept the vinyl. But they reissued this thing. Was it a record store day? And this was a must-have for me. It is one of my all-time favorite albums, Songs for Drella. It's a wonderful biography of Andy Warhol, and it is a true biography. I've read so many books on Warhol because I'm a fan of his, and they stick to it. They knew Warhol. They knew what the good and the bad. They also knew that they crapped on him at times too, and they address it all. all of it. And it is so well done. Some of it's quiet and peaceful. And then there's other times where it's Velvet Underground. The feedback coming at you, hitting you, blasting you. Lou Reed and John Cale, they take turns on vocals. And they just a phenomenal job. It was so good to hear them. They tried to tour and they did a few concerts, but eventually they couldn't get past their differences, their creative differences, because they really are two totally different people. But when they put them together and they did the music together, they just made something special. They really did. And I just wish that they could have, God, just done more together. But hey, it happens. This is just a gorgeous tribute to Andy Warhol, where it even ends where they apologize. They apologize and they say, you know what? We're sorry, but we love you. And just amazing. I just can't say enough about this album, what it means to me, just the beauty of it, and the Velvet Underground connections, which is just like, well, my all-time favorite bands. Wonderful stuff. 1990. I was amazed at how good and how many things in that year that I don't have anymore that I want to get back, but that were great. Those were great. Thanks for sticking with. This went long, but sorry, I get kind of excited about some of these albums. It's just, there's a lot of passion. Everyone, have a great week, and see you on the next video. Bye.